Hey guys, and welcome to World of Warships with Vulevu. Today I want to talk about my way of winning while sailing a battleship in this second season of ranked battles. Now, all this commentary is referring to ranks between 9 and higher, as this is the rank that I started from. So if you are starting fresh from rank 25, most of the things I want to talk about right now will apply, but some things will be different. Mainly the experience of your teammates will most likely be much lower, and you will have to account for that. But like I said, this is not something that I will get into depth in this video. So let's move on to the battles themselves. The first thing you want to do when you are starting a ranked battle is to look at the list of your teammates and your opponents. I've got an example list here, and this really is important. This will give you a lot of information on how to proceed within the battle itself. So let's go from the top. It seems that the teams are pretty equal except for the battleships. We do have a slight advantage there. Both teams have got a stealthy Japanese destroyer, and also they have a gunboat, which is quite useful. And yeah, so we seem to have an advantage there, and this is something that you need to remember. Now, the second really important thing is, especially when you play ranked battles, is that you will be bumping into the same people over and over again. The higher you get, the more visible this will become, and this is really valuable information for people who have just reached your level and they don't know what to expect from their teammates. So it's good to know. So I'm looking at the list here, and I know that the Miyako captain on the enemy team will be a very big threat. He is my equal when ranks right now, unless he already moved up. So he might. Right now he is on rank 4, and I know that he is a threat, and I've played with him and against him before many times. So the Miyako captain is someone that I need to inform my team about. The Benson captain Feld is pretty proficient as well. I don't know anything about the Nagato captain. He must be new to this rank. And the North Carolina captain, I have bumped into him before, and I'm not entirely sure if he is my equal. So yeah, we might have another advantage there. Moving on to my team, the Admiral Hipper captain is someone I've played with and against many times, and I know that I can count on him. All the other players on my team are unknown to me. I do not know what to expect. So this way, I know that the enemy team may have an advantage over me, simply because I know that there are at least 2 good players, maybe more, on their team. So that's all I want to tell you, and this is something that you really want to tell your team about. I'm not going to do this in this particular replay because it seems that we've all played together in a previous battle, and it would be pointless. We basically exchanged this information earlier on in a different battle. Okay, so we're starting in the south of this map, and the general idea is that you want to send your fleet to one cap, the majority of your fleet to one cap, and then you want to have one destroyer and possibly a good cruiser captain try to contest the other cap. So you see on the bottom left part of the screen, I've put in the ctrl+x. This is a bit of information for you, just to make it a bit more visible. Whenever I use the ctrl+x to lock my guns and make a move to a particular direction from my ship. Also on the right hand side, in a second will pop up an RMB sign the same way as the ctrl+x did, and that is basically going to tell you whenever I use the right mouse button. See, there you go, there it is. I use the right mouse button to either zoom out with the chance of zooming back in straight to the exact place where I was aiming at, or being able to look around while I'm zoomed out, look around and allowing the camera to go straight back to the exact point where I was looking at when I let off the right mouse button. So there it was, the first time I actually used the right mouse button. Again, and as you can see, the moment I let go of the right mouse button, I get zoomed back in straight into the exact lead that I had on the ship, and this is a very important part. So I'm not gonna dwell on this too much, but one more time, I shoot the North Carolina, and straight after I zoom out just to confirm that I'm safe, that nobody else is shooting at me, and I'm going back straight in to observe the effectiveness of my lead. And again, look around. You can see the incoming icon on the right side. I don't use the situational awareness. I use the incoming fire alert on battleships and ranked battles. I find it much more useful for me. And again, right mouse button, just to confirm that I'm still safe, that maybe I should move around, maybe somebody's approaching me. Let go. And that's just a normal zoom out now. Whenever you don't see the right mouse button sign on the bottom, that's just a normal shift, zooming in and out of the scope view. Right, so moving on to the battle. So as I mentioned before, we have a really good situation. One of our destroyers is contesting the A cap, and this is good. We don't really need to cap it right now. All you should want is for the cap not to fall into enemy hands. And I'm moving on to help our Błyskawica on cap B. I can see torpedoes coming in, so I know that there's somebody there. I'm counting the torpedoes, and that's 5 of them, and that means that it's most likely a spread coming from the enemy Benson. This is the kind of information that you need to know, the number of torpedoes that are in the water, and the indication of what actually shot them out before you actually see the enemy is really important. So here's the Benson. I know that he's still got 1 spread of torpedoes left, most likely. The Admiral Hipper is there as well, and this is precisely why I came here. I want to make sure that the Admiral Hipper does not chase our Błyskawica away from the cap and start capping. So I'm here now, and I'm taking aim, and again I'm gonna use the right mouse button straight after, just to confirm, just to look around, make sure that there's no other torpedoes coming or anything like that. Right, so another really important thing, as I said, you need to pay attention to who shot whose torpedoes out. So I know that Admiral Hipper's right side torpedoes have been used. I'm still waiting for the Benson to shoot his, to launch his other spread of torpedoes. He's probably saving it for me. So I know that I can't really get in, but they are capping, and I don't want to allow them to get the cap, so I have to get in there. Not really sure if I managed to get in there in time. Yeah, it's incoming fire, somebody's shooting at me, it's most likely Admiral Hipper. Yes, I managed to stop the cap, and this is precisely why I got in there. Now, I know that the Benson is there, I just can't see it, so I'm shooting blind into the spaces where the shells are coming from. And that's another 2 torpedo spreads from the Benson. That means that he's screwed right now. I can safely go in there and push, because I know that he has really nothing to hurt me right now except for his guns, and they're just small time. They can set me on fire, but they're not gonna kill me. Besides, another thing that you need to really pay attention to is the fact that you cannot be a long-range sniper in ranked battles. You really need to get in there, and you really need to be able to tank damage. So I know that I can actually take a torpedo or two and still be a fully operational member of the team. 4 hits on the Benson, and it looks like I'm actually gonna eat one of the torpedoes here. Hard turn left to avoid them. I'm not slowing down, I'm still on fire, but I'm not really worried about this. I've got loads of health and still 3 full recharges left. So that's the Benson, and surprise surprise, the Hatsuharu is here as well on really low health. I use my guns to kill it. He's not that far, and this is another thing that as a battleship captain you will have to get comfortable with. You need to be able to engage destroyers with your guns, and not only on short distances like this one, but even on long distance shooting. If you need to have this sort of an aim to be able to get rid of destroyers that are attacking you. I have a really good example of that later on in the video. So again, slowing down, control your speed and control your rudder. Make sure that you make as much of a difficult target to the enemy to torpedo as possible. Now, you see that recharge gave me a lot of health back, and this is something that you can actually help with the use of one of the flags. There is a flag there which I can't remember its name right now, but this flag basically tells you that it adds about 20% to the recharge rate of your damage repair consumable, and this is something that is extremely valuable in ranked battles. You basically want to live as long as possible because there is so few of you. So here, that's all I wanted to show you in this particular replay. Basically, to recap, make sure that you are aware of what sort of threat you can expect from the enemy. Did the destroyer right ahead of you already shoot his torpedoes out, or still waiting, holding out to attack you? What is the position of the enemy ships? How many of them you can expect in a particular area, and also make sure that the team is capping one cap or controlling one cap and at least contesting the other one. Let's move on to the next battle, and again we start with the team list right before the battle, and this time it seems that we have a very equal team, with the only difference that the enemy team has got a very stealthy Japanese destroyer, which might prove to be very useful to them for spotting. When you're sailing a destroyer like that, you rarely use your guns. You just want to rely on the fact that you are giving vision to your enemies. You are giving vision to your teammates by spotting enemies. Right, so as far as the other really important thing in the team list goes, the enemy list, the enemy player list, this is a really tough match for me. The North Carolina captain from the previous replay has proven to be quite resourceful. The Amagi captain is an absolute master of this ship. I've played with him and against him again many times, and he is deadly. The New Orleans captain, same. I've played against him many times, and he is someone that you need to be wary of. And again, Mogami captain, Kilabot, excellent player, very resourceful. He will slip up in this replay that I'm about to show you, but yes, you really need to watch out for him. And again, if I didn't know that my team already knows that, if I wasn't sure, I would most definitely warn them about the Mogami captain and the Yamagi captain. They would become our primary targets. I would tell them that to basically target them, because I know that those two captains can actually carry the game. Not to mention that the rest of the enemy team's names are seem to be familiar to me, and so I've seen them before, and I know that this is a team that you cannot take lightly. You need to be on your top game to be able to defeat them. Moving on to my side, I have an amazing asset of the top Błyskawica destroyer captain, the Apollo Zeu or whatever that is. I've played with him in the first season and against him in the first season, and I've had many games with and against him up to this point in the second season as well. I know that he can be counted on. He is a very good captain, and he's very versatile. He plays different ships, not only destroyers. Tremor in New Orleans is pretty good as well. I've played with him again. So I know that there are a couple of people in the team that I can count on. So, moving on to the battle. Again, same map. This time we're starting from the north. And again, I'll be using the ctrl+x and right mouse button just for your reference, just so you have an idea of how often I actually use these in battle while sailing battleships. I use the ctrl+x much more often with cruisers. And I actually use it with destroyers as well, especially the ones that have slightly slower turrets. So again, the idea here is to contest the A cup and send maybe one destroyer and a good cruiser captain to the B cup. Normally, I would be writing to the team asking to do this. I'm not really sure why I didn't do it in this particular battle. So another tip for you, I'm going to shoot my front guns here, and then slightly later on I'll shoot my rear guns, and basically I will split those 5 turrets into 2 separate volleys, and I want to target and shoot as many enemies as possible. I want to give them the impression that every single one of them is personally being targeted by me. I just want to make sure that they are more worried about their position and the fact of whether or not they are exposing their broadside than doing some decent aiming and picking off my team. Another thing I want to tell you about is the incoming fire alert. In this particular battle, I don't even have the situational awareness perk on my captain. Right now, as we speak right now, my captain actually does have it already, but at that point I still didn't have it. I just don't use it. I don't see it as useful as the incoming fire alert. See, there you go, that's another one popping out, and I know that there is a volley coming in my way. That's another volley coming right now, so that's the second one and the third one. So I know that I can expect 3 different volleys coming my way, and I need to react to them. 4th volley, and the 5th, somebody's shooting at me again. That must be the Mogami. And this is that Magian captain I mentioned before. He is a primary target. He is very dangerous, and I know that as a battleship captain in this particular battle, I don't have to worry about him too much personally, but I know that I need to kill him as soon as possible to protect my team. So here's how I use the right mouse button. The moment I let go, just observe, the moment I let go, the camera will snap back straight back into the position where it was before. See, that's where the Mogami captain was before, and this is really useful because you can look around. You can basically use 360 view around your ship, make sure that you're safe, make sure that you're not going to run into an island or anything like that, and still within a second be back to the scope and get back to aiming at the ship that you were aiming at. So I noticed a destroyer here that was coming up behind that island. That's why I changed my mind and I decided to divert course. I can't see him anymore, and the moment he pops out on the other side of the island, closer to the A cap, I decide to turn around. Oh yeah, and I'm slowing down here because this is how I use the ctrl+x function. So I'm looking on this side with my camera, I'm pressing ctrl+x, and I'm very quickly snapping back to observing the events on the other side of my ship where all the enemies are. So at this point I know that all my turrets are turning as fast as they can to face the side where I expect to have my enemies on as soon as I complete a turn. I really cannot stress enough how important it is to make sure that your turrets are turned the right way after completing a turn or maneuvering. So yeah, this is one of the most important things that I want to teach you. If there's anything I can teach you, is the fact that you need to use that right mouse button and the ctrl+x function very proficiently in ranked battles. You need to always be ready to shoot if there is an opportunity. So a little bit of situational awareness right now. So I know that there is most likely a destroyer to the right of me, just where the Błyskawica is going in. It's very likely that there is another one still contesting, still around the A area of the map. And it looks like we might actually lose the B cap very soon, seeing that most of the enemy team is actually pushing up on the B cap. I see no choice. I have to use my ship to cap, and this again is something that you need to be comfortable with doing. You basically need to be able to use your ship for capping and not be afraid to actually eat a torpedo or two if this is required. So I indicated in the chat that I'm going for the A cap, and the New Orleans captain has confirmed that he noticed that I'm doing this, and it seems that he wants to help me. This is something that you need to count on as well, and you need to inform your teammates on your intentions, especially when you're a battleship. You are the major player in the battle, so you can't just sail around without at least trying to tell them what you're up to. So yeah, there we go. So I mentioned before that I'm gonna show you a really cool moment with me in a battleship fighting off an enemy destroyer. So we are both in the A cap, and we are still not capping, which is just a clear indication that there's an enemy destroyer in the cap as well. And obviously he will be in that smoke cloud. I write to my teammate asking him to smoke the destroyer out, and I'm preparing my guns. And I know that I've got AP shells, and quite frankly I rarely change to high explosive shells when fighting destroyers these days because of that. I mean, 6 hits and that destroyer is absolutely dead. Even if he was on full health, I would have crippled it with armor piercing rounds. So I only use the high explosive rounds. I only switch to high explosive rounds if I know that there is no chance that I will be encountering any other type of ship than a destroyer. And so yes, so that's all as far as my observations and my tips and tricks when it comes to dealing when it comes to sailing battleships in ranked battles. I hope that this has been useful to you and at least gave you an idea of how I think when I'm sailing a battleship in ranked battles. And now let's move on to the port where I show you how I spec'd my Amagi out for ranked battles. And guys, as promised, here are the captain perks that I chose for sailing the Amagi in ranked battles. As I mentioned before, through most of the ranked battles season, I did not have the situational awareness. But the rest, that was exactly how I had it. So I had the basics of survivability, fire prevention, the incoming fire alert, which I mentioned before as well. I also had the high alert and the superintendent, and that's all. That's the way I spec'd my Amagi's captain out. And also moving on to the modules, I use the premium damage control party and also the premium repair party, and just the normal catapult fighter. I don't use the spotter plane. Those ships have got a long enough range anyway, and as I mentioned before, you really need to get stuck in there. You cannot be a long range sniper in ranked battles. And moving on to the upgrades, it's pretty straightforward. Main battery modification 1, gunfire control system modification 1, damage control system modification 1, and damage control system modification 2. So yeah, that will be all about my thoughts on how to progress in ranked battles while sailing a battleship. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do rate it down below. And also, do think about hitting that subscribe button if you think that you'd like to see more of my materials. Take care, and I see you next time.